What's up, self-healers? Lisa Lightfeather here. Welcome to my channel, Closing the Gap, where we make a conscious effort to meet you where you're at on your spiritual journey. Today I'll be going over the topic of the dark night of the soul. I'll be giving you some tools on how to get through it, explaining what exactly the dark night of the soul is. Although the concept of the dark night of the soul has been recognized since St. John of the Cross quoted, "The endurance of darkness is the preparation for great light." So although this started out possibly being a Christian concept, this is something that is across the board. Not every person will go through the dark night of the soul. I'm not insinuating that. However, people who are on a spiritual journey of evolving will most certainly go through the dark night of the soul. So what is the dark night of the soul? The dark night of the soul is ultimately an ego death, where the ego slowly dies and is replaced with something else. Yes? The dark night of the soul is the soul standing up for itself. It's this way of saying that it's tired of being inauthentic. It's tired of being out of alignment. What do I mean by out of alignment? We all come into this world with a certain energy. Most of us come into this world, all of us come into this world with the energy that we had in a previous life. This energy in the astrological chart is referred to as the South Node. So the South Node, if you don't believe in previous lives, then think about when you were younger, yeah? But the South Node is an energy that we are birthed into this life with. And throughout this lifetime, our goal is to get to the energy of the North Node, which is what we've come back for in this lifetime, what we've come back to be, what we've come back to do. It is the soul's job to vibrate you into that North Node, into alignment with what you have come back to do in this lifetime. Yes? So, in the soul's journey of getting you to what you've come back to do, your true authenticity, getting you in alignment with your authenticity, it can be very painful. The good news story is that it doesn't last forever. And today I want to give you some tools on how to assist you in getting through the dark night of the soul. You can have more than one dark night of the soul. Again, the good news story is that as you go through several dark nights of the soul, they get easier and easier and easier. Now, people's dark nights of the soul are coming faster and faster and faster because as a whole, as a collective, we are vibrating on a different frequency, preparing for the new earth, for the new world. Yes? The age of knowing versus the age of believing. It's the age of information. So everybody has information coming from all different directions. And this is by design because we are supposed to evolve, and we are evolving quicker and quicker and quicker as a human race. We are evolving quicker and quicker. And so in order for your soul to keep up with this evolving, it has to take you through trials and tribulations. Basically, the soul is moving on, and it's dragging you with them. Yes? So, during the dark night of the soul, ultimately what happens is that everything falls apart. Everything you know to be real, everything you know to be true, everything that you have identified yourself with, that the ego has said, this is who I am, this is what I do, this is the reputation that I have, everything that you know to be true as the identity that you've built, the mask that you've created, to say, I am successful, I am somebody, I am important, and this is what I bring to the table. This is what you've created, yes? And it's a process of your journey. So when going into the dark night of the soul, one can lose all of this. They can lose their identity. You can lose the job. Everyone's journey is different, but you can lose the job. You can lose the promotion. You can lose the position. The reputation can be ruined. The marriage could fall apart. You could lose the house, the car, the money, the status of I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm someone's boss, I'm someone's supervisor. Everything that you deem yourself to be will start slowly falling apart. And during the dark night of the soul, you find yourself in this really, really, really dark space where there's isolation and no one's there, and you may have lost your friends, and family members may have turned their back on you, and everything that you've identified with, the beautiful car, the beautiful house, the gorgeous wife, the husband, the trophy wife, the perfect kids, everything that you have identified yourself with and took pride in building is now starting to fall away. So the question comes to the person, who am I now? The person believed that having all of these things would bring happiness, because that's what society says. Society says that you want the job, the house, the three cars, the four kids, the white picket fence. You want the bank account with the 6 zeros. You need all of this stuff, and all of this will bring you happiness. Well, the soul decides that that's not the case. The soul is out of alignment. It wants to go to where what it has come back to do in this lifetime, not what society has said it needs to do in this lifetime. And so it drags you with it as it decides to evolve. During the dark night of the soul, there can be extreme anxiety, depression, fear, anger. It can get really dark. It can even go into suicidal thoughts. One thing I want to encourage you to do is to stay here. Stay the course. Because you are evolving. You don't want to check out of a temporary situation by making a permanent decision. So in staying here, you're saying, yes, I signed up for this, and I know that I have what it takes to get through it. Although there'll be moments where you feel like I can't take it anymore, I can't do this, I'm not going to make it, my life is over, and I'm dying. And in a sense, you are dying. What you're experiencing is an ego death. Yes? The ego has to move out of the way so that the soul can take center stage. The soul is tired of being inauthentic. It's tired of being out of alignment. And getting in alignment with what you have come back to do, going back to astrology, your north node, life unfolds a lot more gentle. You begin to feel more authentic. You're here for a purpose. And that purpose isn't just to have fancy clothes and a nice car and a nice house, and nothing's wrong with those things. You can still have those things. However, that is not all you're made of. No matter how hard society tries to push this. And in this generation, Generation Z, it's really hard because we have the social media, we have everybody posting the best sides of themselves, everybody's posting their highs, their happy moments, all the good stuff that's happening to them, and they're shoving in the closet all the stuff, all the bad things that are happening. No one sees that. And so we have this perception that everybody's happy, everybody's doing everybody has everything they need, and I should be there as well. And so we put on this mask of everything's perfect, everything's going great. Look at my new car, look at my new ring, he proposed to me, look at our new house, look at our new baby. Look at they're not posting the fact that their teenager just went to jail, or they're not posting the fact that they just got demoted on their job, or that the husband is cheating, or that the wife is stepping out on the husband, or the wife is spending all the money, or the husband has an alcoholic problem, or the wife has a gambling problem. They're not posting any of that. They're only posting what's good. And it's deceptive because it gives people the feeling, unconsciously even, that they have to keep up with that. Well, we can do that, but the soul will eventually rebel. The soul will eventually say, enough is enough. And we will go into this dark space where we feel forsaken, we feel forgotten, we feel left out in the cold. The connection to our higher self, or to whatever spiritual belief we have, whether that be whatever it is, whatever your belief is, that connection feels like it's been severed. You start to question yourself. Well, if my God is real, why am I suffering so much? I remember falling into the grass and saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani, which means, God, God, why have you forsaken me? I can't do anything but laugh at this point, because at that moment I literally felt forsaken. Yeah. So when the ego is dying, what the soul is doing is it is vibrating everything off. It's not in alignment. It doesn't feel good to the soul. And it's dragging us, because most times we're kicking and screaming and fighting. It's trying to bring us to the other side. It's trying to promote us spiritually. Get us one step closer to our goal, to our destiny of what we've come back here to do. We may not know what we've come back here to do in the physical, but the soul knows, and it's taking you, kicking and screaming. So one way that one might deal with this is they might go into survival mode. They might go into, okay, I've lost everything, now I have to get it back. And so they go back and they get the job again, and they get a new husband, and they get pregnant again with a new baby, and they get a new promotion, and they get a new car, and the whole time they're bringing the same energy from the last dark night of the soul into this new one. They may be developing all these things and building all these things while they're still in the dark night of the soul. It's a survival mechanism. It's a form of escapism. I want to get it all back. And so you rebuild it, the same exact scenario. And you're just extending the dark night of the soul. Because the soul just took you from that. The soul has stated, I don't want that. But you build it back again, because you have to be successful. You have to prove. You have to say, look at me, I told you so. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. And so we keep building, we recreate this persona. Never once did we stop to heal or stop to ask, what's happening here? We just try to recreate that persona, because that's all we know. So today I want to give you some pointers on how not to spin out in the dark night of the soul, prolonging the process. Some don'ts that one should do during the dark night of the soul. Don't resort to escapism, meaning don't resort to drugs, alcohol, losing yourself in work again, going on shopping sprees every day to make yourself feel better, gambling, drinking, sex. Okay, I lost that husband. the best way to get over the last one is to get on the next one, and you're just in this cycle of trying to find that space that you perceived as happiness. All of that is escapism. It's avoiding what's happening, avoiding what you're feeling, avoiding the emotions, and going to find something to make me feel better, whatever your drug of choice is. It could be going from one healing ceremony to the next healing ceremony. At some point, we have to stop. Take a deep breath and ask our soul, what is it that you need? What is it that you want? Be still and rest in that. Another don't is making a permanent decision for a temporary situation. Hurting oneself in some way, hurting someone else out of anger and frustration. Everything's falling apart. It's your fault. I can't believe you did this to me. Pow! It's over. And now here you are left with the consequences of your actions. Don't make a permanent decision based off a temporary situation. The dark night of the soul is temporary. Another don't is lacking emotional intelligence. When we're upset, when things are falling apart, our emotional intelligence tends to go out the window. So we go to work and we cuss out our boss, or we cuss out our subordinates, or we yell at our children, or we cuss at our husbands, or whatever the case is. You lack emotional intelligence. So when your emotions start riling up, instead of responding, you act. Yes? So emotional intelligence is important throughout the dark night of the soul. Another don't is don't try to fix it. Don't try to recreate the same scenario over again. It'll only create the end result. It'll only fall apart again. It'll just be different people, a different job, a different car. But it'll only fall away again, because the soul is determined to get you to the other side. If you want to take the long way, that's your choice. The soul can't stop you from taking the long way because you have free will. You can take the long way over and over again. You can escape as much as you want to. You have free will. Some of the do's during the dark night of the soul. The number one do is surrender. Master the art of allowing. Know that all the things that have fallen away, no matter how much it hurts, that as long as there's life, there's hope. So you want to master the art of allowing the process to unfold. You want to journal, and in your journaling, you want to create something new. Not the same scenario that you had in the previous, but you want to create something new. Now that we know that the new house and the new car, the 6 bedrooms, which 3 we never use, does not bring happiness. Maybe we want to create something more modest. This is just an example. And so you draw on your pad, white paper with a blue pen. You draw on your pad the 2 bedroom that you actually need. The car that gets you from A to Z that doesn't have an $800 a month payment. Whatever it is, the job that you really want to do. I work in architect, I work in construction. But what I really want to do is I want to be an artist. Start manifesting that. in some way. And I'm not naive to the fact that I know you have to go to work. I know you have to pay bills. I know the children need to be taken care of. I know all that. But start manifesting something that the deep desire, the soul wants, so that you're moving one step closer to what you're supposed to be in this lifetime. Acceptance. Learning how to accept the fact that this is not that this no longer exists, or that no longer exists. This is my new life. And you build from there, creating something new, not trying to create the same scenario over and over again. Yeah? Shadow work. Going within one's shadow. Now that I know that all of this stuff that I acquired and that I built does not bring happiness, what is it in me that feels like I need that? Was it the fact that when you were a child you had nothing? That's what society said. The society says I'm supposed to be this or that. And so we've just built ourselves like cookie cutters, like robots. This is what society says needs to be done. I must go and do it like a robot. So you want to go to your deepest desires that you can think of at this moment. Journal about it. What is it that you would do that you can get paid to do, but you would do it without being paid? You would do it regardless. What is it that you love to do that you would do without any payment, without any reciprocity, because it just brings so much joy to your heart that the joy is the reciprocity? Is it helping others? Is it healing? Is it creating things that help people heal? Natural products, natural toothpaste, natural deodorant, natural soaps? Is it holding babies in the NICU units? You know, the ones that the mothers and the fathers never come back for or never visit? Is it going to the NICU and holding them, providing them the nourishment that they need? Is it helping the elderly, holding space for them, reading to them, bringing them gifts to the nursing home? Is it helping the homeless? What is it that your soul desires, that deepness? You can still have all the cars and the houses and all that, but you have to do what the soul desires. And you can find this in your North Node. I'm going to drop a link down below on how to find your North Node, how to learn about your South and North Nodes. This will help you on your journey. It'll give you an idea of what direction you're supposed to be going in. So, to end this, I would like to just remind you that one should never make a permanent decision based off of a temporary situation. The dark night of the soul is temporary. It's something that is evolving you. It is a promotion. It is ultimately a good thing. Endure it. Flow through it. Master it. So the next time it comes around, you recognize it. Oh, this is the dark night. You get through it faster. It doesn't knock you down. It might put you in isolation. It might put you in a hermit mode for a minute. Go into hermit mode. Use the tools you've learned during this initial dark night of the soul in the next ones that come. But always remember that the dark night of the soul is a promotion. It's trying to vibrate you from the stuff that you're doing. The soul is not in alignment. The soul is not happy. The soul feels like it's being inauthentic. So you want to use the tools every time. And the dark nights of the soul get shorter and shorter and shorter. Yes? So this concludes my message today on the dark night of the soul. I wish you the absolute best on your journey. Know that you're not alone on this journey. Know that there are thousands and thousands and thousands of people who are experiencing the dark night of the soul as we as a collective evolve. And know that that you are not necessarily suffering a mental illness, depression, or anything like that. If you go to the hospital with the dark night of the soul, they're going to give you antidepressants and things of that sort. I would use that as a last resort. Yeah? Not telling you not to go, but I would use it as a last resort. You have everything that you need within inside of you to make it through this dark night of the soul and come out on the other side to the light. As St. John the Cross said, the endurance of darkness is the preparation for great light. Thank you for tuning in to my channel today, Closing the Gap, where we make a conscious effort to meet you where you're at on your spiritual journey. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Drop a comment and feel free to share. All likes and subscribes are appreciated. We'll see you next time here on Closing the Gap.